Burnout is one of those experiences that doesn't always show up with loud, dramatic signs. Sometimes it starts quietly, a little fatigue, a little irritability, a little voice inside saying, something feels off. And before you know it, you look up and you realize you don't feel like yourself anymore. You wake up tired, you feel mentally and emotionally stretched thin. And if you've ever burned out in a past role, that worry starts creeping in. What if I take this next job and the same thing happens again? Let me tell you this up front. High performers don't burn out because they're weak. They burn out because they carry more emotionally, mentally, and spiritually than most people ever see. And today, I want to help you understand why burnout happens, where it really comes from, and more importantly, how to prevent it before you step into your next role or chapter of your career. But before we dive in, if you're new here and haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time we post a new video about job search advice, or if you're just looking for encouragement, wisdom, and practical guidance in your career, let us be your guide. So if we haven't met yet, my name is Chuks, Agada, also known as Dr. A. I am an executive career coach and former executive recruiter, and I've helped hundreds of seasoned professionals, directors, VPs, executives, and senior leaders navigate the job market with clarity and confidence. And something I've learned working with so many high-achieving professionals is this. Most people aren't just chasing a higher salary or a bigger title. They're looking for something much deeper. They're looking for health, for alignment, for sustainability, because at some point in their journey, the demands of their role shifted, or their life changed, or the environment around them evolved in a way that no longer worked for who they were becoming. Leaders change. Organizations change. Our own internal worlds change. And when those shifts happen without us recalibrating how we work and what we need, burnout can actually take root. So this isn't about blaming a job or blaming a leader. Sometimes burnout happens simply because you've outgrown a season, or a season has outgrown you. And if you're looking to step into your next chapter with more clarity, peace, and more confidence, I want to walk through a framework that helps you understand burnout at its core and how to prevent it before it even starts. Okay, so let's talk about the truth about burnout. So burnout isn't just a busy season. It's not just needing a vacation, and it's not something you can simply power through. Burnout is a combination of internal and external misalignment, and it's more common than people admit. Let me ground this in just a few data points that put the whole picture in perspective. So Gallup reports that 76% of employees experience burnout at some point in their career, and about half say it impacts them on a daily basis. On another note, McKinsey reports that burnout often comes from a chronic imbalance between what a job demands and the resources available to support that work. And if you think about it, high performers are usually the ones carrying the heaviest invisible workloads, the extra responsibilities, the emotional labor, the late night problem solving that no one else sees. So even though McKinsey doesn't call out high performers by name, the pattern lines up with what many of us experience in real life. But statistics don't tell the whole story. Burnout feels like something. It feels like waking up depleted, even after a full night's rest. It can feel like caring deeply but having nothing left to give. Or like wanting change but being afraid you'll repeat the same cycle. And here's the core truth. Burnout isn't caused by one thing. It's caused by misalignment. Misalignment between your capacity and your reality. Misalignment between what your role demands and what your life can sustain. Misalignment between who you were and who you've become. Sometimes your internal world is overloaded. For example, parenting, finances, health, relationships. Sometimes your job stretches you in healthy ways until it stops being healthy. Or sometimes you've simply outgrown the environment. And here's where perspective is very, very powerful. I tell my clients all the time, though you have not arrived, you have left. Meaning things may not be perfect, but they're better than they used to be. You're growing, you're evolving, you're becoming more self-aware. And that perspective anchors you. It keeps burnout from consuming you. But still, perspective alone doesn't fix burnout. We need a practical way forward. Step 1, identify the root cause, internal and external. One of the biggest breakthroughs clients have is when they finally see burnout for what it is, a combination of influences. Most people only evaluate the external. For example, my job is stressful, my team is understaffed, my leader is inconsistent. And sometimes those things are true, but people overlook the internal contributions. Saying yes to everything because you're capable, not asking for help, trying to be the hero, carrying emotional weight from home into work, feeling guilty, setting boundaries, running on old habits that no longer serve this season of your life. So here's an exercise that helps bring clarity. Take a blank sheet of paper, draw a line down the middle, label one side work stressors, label the other side life stressors. Then write things down honestly. You may discover that burnout isn't coming from one place. It's coming from the combination of everything you're carrying. And when you can see the whole picture, you can finally address the whole picture. All right, so step 2, ask these 4 questions before accepting any job. So this is for those who are maybe going to be transitioning into something new and you're concerned about this. So before stepping into the new role, these 4 questions matter more than salary, title, or location. So the first one is this role sustainable for the season I'm in? Does the environment align with my values and energy? Will I thrive under this leader? And then can I be myself here? So these questions help you step into your next chapter with your eyes wide open and with your well-being intact. Step 3, build a personal resilience operating system. So burnout prevention doesn't happen through traumatic changes. It happens through small, consistent habits that protect your energy, in the same way that brushing your teeth protects your health. So let me break this down into 3 rhythms that I teach many of my clients. So A, your daily anchor. So the daily anchor is your 5 to 10 minute moment of grounding, something that settles your internal world before the demands of the external world start tugging at you. And this can look different for everyone. For some, it's prayer. For others, it's journaling. For some, it's sitting quietly with a cup of coffee before the house wakes up. For others, it's going for a short walk or doing some breathing exercises. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be yours. A moment where you're not reacting to emails, fires, problems, or expectations. It's a moment where you're checking in with you. So high performers often go straight from sleep to stress without ever giving their mind a chance to recalibrate. That's why a daily anchor helps more than people realize. It resets your emotional baseline before the day even begins. Now, B, your weekly reset. Life gets busy, work gets demanding, and if you're not careful, weeks can blur together without you realizing how much you're carrying. That's why I recommend taking just 20 to 30 minutes every week to check in with yourself. Ask, what drained me this week? What energized me? What boundaries did I allow to slip? What commitments did I make that I now realize weren't realistic? This reflection is powerful because it keeps your internal world honest. Let me give you an example. So one of my clients realized that during her weekly reset that she was saying yes to a quick call multiple times a week. And those quick calls were turning into 45-minute strategy sessions. She wasn't being malicious. She just didn't realize how much time was being siphoned away. When she saw it clearly, she made one small change. She pushed those calls to her office hours twice a week. Well, that alone gave her back several hours. Weekly resets help you catch patterns before they snowball. And then the last one here is your quarterly alignment check. Every 90 days, you want to pause and ask yourself high-level questions. Am I still growing here? Am I aligned with my values? Is this space sustainable? Does this environment bring out the best version of me? Because sometimes burnout creeps in silently. It's not always a dramatic moment. Sometimes it's the slow drift, the realization that the job hasn't changed, but you have. And doing this every quarter is like taking your car in for inspection. You're checking your alignment so you don't drift off the road. So a daily anchor grounds you, a weekly reset regulates you, and a quarterly check realigns you. So put together, they create an internal system that protects you from slipping back into survival mode. So quick pause here. If you're thinking, wow, this is literally describing my life right now, go ahead and hit that like button. It tells you to push this video to more professionals who might need this conversation today. And here's a simple question for you. I genuinely want to know, if you had to rate your burnout level from 1 to 10, where would you put yourself right now? Drop the number in the comments below. And your responses help me create content that truly serves your needs. All right, with that in mind, let's move into something that can completely change your experience at work. So step number 4, redesign your workload before it redesigns you. Now let's talk about something that can completely transform your experience at work. And that's redesigning your workload before it overwhelms you. Many high performers fall into what I call silent overfunctioning. It's when you do extra work by default without even realizing you're doing it. So let me paint the picture. You're the person people go to when things get messy. You're the one who can fix the situation quickly. You're the one who says, I'll take care of it because you know you can. And the truth is, that trait has helped you succeed. But here's the flip side. When you're the person who could handle a lot, people start giving you a lot to handle. Not because they're malicious, not because they're trying to take advantage of you, but because you've trained them to do so, unintentionally, to rely on you. And over time, you become the unofficial firefighter, the unofficial mentor, the unofficial problem solver, the unofficial stabilizer of the team, all roles you were never officially hired for. That's how burnout happens quietly. Redesigning your workload equals resetting your expectations. Redesigning your workload doesn't mean becoming rigid or difficult. It means communicating proactively instead of waiting until you're overwhelmed. So here's a simple phrase you can start using. Here's what I can realistically complete this week. If we need everything done, I'll need support or a shift in priorities. This one sentence does 3 things. It sets clear expectations, it prevents you from slightly over-functioning, and it invites your leader to choose priorities instead of dumping everything at you at once. You'd be surprised how many burnout cycles end simply by having this one conversation consistently. Another example, delegation isn't weakness, it's sustainability. Many high performers avoid delegating because it's faster if I do it myself, or I don't want to burden anyone, or what if they don't do it the way I would? But here's the truth. Delegation is a leadership skill. Burnout is a leadership liability. Your future self will thank you for setting boundaries today, because redesigning your workload isn't about doing less work. It's about doing the right work at the right pace with the right expectations. So step 5, know when burnout is a sign to pivot, not push through. Sometimes burnout is not a performance issue. It's a signal. It's telling you, this season has served its purpose. This environment is no longer aligned with who you are becoming, and it's time for change. So if you're feeling this, please hear me. It's not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that you're changing and life is asking something different of you. Sometimes burnout isn't about resting. It's about re-imaging what comes next. Burnout isn't permanent and it doesn't define you. When you understand your internal patterns, your external environment, and how to realign the two, you become stronger, not just in your career, but in your life. Your career should elevate your life, not consume it. All right, that wraps up today's video. If you're a seasoned professional, try to make a career transition, especially after years or even decades in the same company, and you need help getting your narrative, your positioning, your job search strategy right, I'd love to help. So go ahead and click on the link below and fill out an application to work with us. If a fit, you'll be prompted to schedule a call with us. I look forward to meeting you. Also, would you like expert job search advice delivered weekly into your inbox? Sign up to join our exclusive email list. Get exclusive insights designed to help you land your next role. Sign up today by clicking on the link below and take control of your job search. And finally, before you go, if you found value in this conversation, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. So what's the one thing you want your next role to feel like? Balanced, meaningful, or energized? I'll see you in the next one. Over and out.